This episode of Walt Disney World Today is sponsored by Small World Vacations, whose team of 40 agents are authorized Disney vacation planners, and they're recommended by MouseSavers.com. They're dedicated to your dreams and your dollars. To get your free price quote by going to Small World Vacations online at www.wdwvacations.com. Scopa?
Where the magic begins.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, July 16, 2007, and this is episode 283 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of MGMstudios.org. On the show today is a very depressed Mike Scopa after a very great Magic Meets as usual. Welcome, Mike.
It's always a letdown, Matt, after a great weekend like that, but it was it's fun, and I can't wait till next year. How about you?
Oh, absolutely. Nothing really beat that. Saturday was an amazing day. We had a lot of fun. We met some amazing people, and I can't believe Mike Newell did what he did. My God, Mike, you animal.
I never thought that he could jump that high to get on that chandelier, but I'll tell you, where there's a will, there's a way. And it's funny because I remember when I had my first beer too.
Well, also on the show is Mike with his new Mike Newell of who's better known at Magic Meets as Bronco of Mouse World Radio. Mike, welcome.
I have a court appearance on July 19th. I may not be back in time, so you're going to have to find someone else to record and be on the show.
I'll be a witness for the prosecution.
Other than that, my attorney has advised me not to say anything else.
Also on the show is official Walt Disney World Today graphic artist Chris Eliopoulos. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
And Chris,
I hear.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, I hear Len has got the pictures of Newell hanging from the chandelier. So
he's been trying to blackmail me and some girl in New Jersey for the last week.
Some girl in New Jersey. Well, on today's show, we're going to be talking about resort restaurants. There are a number of restaurants that are at the resorts. A lot of people, never really get around to eating at some of them. So we thought we would talk about some of the restaurants that really stick out in our minds in terms of being, restaurants that we go to often, restaurants that we recommend to others, and restaurants that we've really enjoyed over the years. And these are again restaurants that are only at the resort, so no restaurants at the parks or at Downtown Disney or anything like that. Just strictly resort restaurants. And these could be certainly full service, counter service. Sometimes it's the little places that do it for you. So, Mike Newell, when you were coming up with the list, what was the first restaurant that you thought of?
The first one I put down, without even blinking, for me was Ohana at the Polynesian.
Oh yeah, for like lunch and dinner, or for breakfast?
No,
or both, perhaps.
No, I've never been for breakfast. It's strictly dinner. Actually, all my choices are going to be dinner, with the exception of another one, which is a breakfast that I'll get to. But Ohana is my favorite, my all-time favorite dinner restaurant.
Is there any reason in particular? I mean, is it just the overall package, or something that sticks out? Like, oh, they really do this really well?
No, it's the overall package. And even though the menu has changed in the last couple of years, it's still they still get me going every year. I'm there.
Brings you back.
Yeah, I'm there at least once on every trip.
Great, Scopa.
Well, it's really tough, Matt. I was thinking about all those all the restaurants which I make a point to visit every time I go down there. And the one that, I almost forgot this one, but it is at a resort, and it's the Trails End Buffeteria. I really like to go there. I know Carol loves to go there for breakfast, and I like to go there for lunch. It's off the beaten path. It's a great place to go for a nice quiet lunch. No characters, usually nice and quiet. It's a great place. So that was number one on my list. Number two on my list was Boma. I always try to go to Boma every time I go down. And the third one was very tough, but I'm guessing that it's probably going to be, I'm going to say Chef Mickey's for dinner, because I've gone there for the night before the half marathon. It's a good place to fuel up. So those are my three.
I was going to put the first one you put on there, Mike, at Trails End. It is a really interesting restaurant. I went there for the first time with you, and you were also there, Newell, right?
Yep.
At MouseFest last year.
Yes, I was.
And it was. I mean, I'm sure it was very quiet, except until we got there. But it was,
we ran the place.
It was a fun. Yeah, it's quaint. It's nice. It's cheap. very important. And there's so much to do. Go ahead, Noel.
No,
The food quality is good.
The quality of the food you get and the amount that you can have for the price, it's such a good value. It really is.
Yeah, I remember the cornbread was really good. I remember I got a couple of those even after I was done. I was like,
You were stuffing your pockets with it. Let's tell the truth.
Yeah, we were watching Wishes. And I was like, ooh, cornbread.
I think I've eaten at that I think I ate at that restaurant about a dozen times last year. I mean, it was so good. So that's got to be my favorite.
Cornbread. Yeah, no, it's someone that stands out certainly in my mind.
And 6 months ago, I would have never put that on this list, but I also have that as my second. But 6 months ago, I would have even thought of putting that on my list.
Yeah, it's one of those places that Scope has been talking about forever, and I think we was all right. We'll go there, try it out, and I really enjoyed it. I was mentioning also not only is it a great restaurant, but you also have. Before we went to the restaurant, I got there a little early. And I went with my fiance. We went to there's the horse barn over there. There's a small petting zoo. So there's lots of stuff to do over there. I know that after that, Scopa gave us the tour. Do you remember that, Newell?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I remember he was showing us all the trees he planted when he was there with the first Spanish expedition to Florida.
That's right. All the saplings. They used to be saplings. I remember them as saplings.
That's right. Scopa Appleseed. That's what they called them.
That's right.
Chris, what's a restaurant that's on your list?
Wow, you guys are such adults. I think the only difference I have with you guys is that, I've got a couple of kids who are really finicky eaters. And I've found with them what works best is the buffets. And Chef Mickey's definitely does something great for the kids and then something good for the adults. I know it gets goofy and Mickey and Donald and just you get the crazy noise, and it really is like a cafeteria. But for finicky eaters like my kids, I tend to go there just for the ease of food and not having my kids scream because there's nothing on the menu they can eat. So
yeah, that's a great point. Chef Mickey's is great. I've eaten there before. I don't know who brought it up. I want to say it's Len, but someone brought up the uncleanliness of the of the napkin waving, because
I did.
Yeah, it's
that
true. Was it you, Scope, who brought up that point?
Yeah, what happened was that I was at a night before a half marathon meet. I had hosted one up there with a whole bunch of people, and the person next to me said, the only thing I don't like about this is that when we're waving those napkins, I don't think it's that sanitary to do that. And I never thought of it. And it's like, that's a good point. So
yeah.
I always get hit in the face by somebody, so as they walk by. They always let the kids go around, and they're too short, and they do whack you right in the face.
No, that's Lou Mangello, not a kid. Same height, but
Same height.
Oh, Lou. Ouch.
Yeah, there's a bunch of 8-year-olds and then Lou, so it's hard to tell them all apart, but really based on height.
Here he got platform shoes, so he's doing better.
yeah.
A restaurant that stood out in my mind is Big River Grill and Brewing Works at Boardwalk. I really enjoy it. I go there a couple times. What's great about it, first of all, it's not on the first of all, it's not an official Disney restaurant in that it's not owned by Disney, so it doesn't participate in advanced dining reservations. So it's a great restaurant for last minute, let's see what they've got available, because ESPN Club is always ridiculously crowded, and I don't think it's worth it anyway. And I love going to Big River Grill and Brewing because they have they have a microbrewery, so they have their own beer over there. They have a beer sampler, which is great. If you ever go there, get the beer sampler, get a nice burger. It's good value. I enjoy it a lot. I think it's got the total package over there, especially when it's a little bit nice out. You go during a nice time of the year, like maybe fall or spring, sit outside. It's great. I really enjoy that restaurant a lot, and I highly recommend it. What was another restaurant on your list, Newell?
My second was Trail's End, that Scoper also said. And I also really like the Yachts and Steakhouse over at the Yacht Club. That's also a must. That's something we do the first night that we get there. That's the first meal, the first dinner that we have is always at Yachts and Steakhouse.
Chris, what else is on your list?
Here's, again, with the kids, a big one for us is when and it's the same complex, we love to take the kids to Beaches and Cream. It's a fun little kind of 50s dinerish feel to it. They've got great ice cream, and I think probably one of the best burgers on property. And, you can let the kids run next door into the video arcade while you can actually have some quiet time. So we really like that place. We got to do the kitchen sink at one point. Maybe you guys should do that at Mouse Fest this year.
There you go. Scopey, you like that. You're pretty high on that place, aren't you?
Yeah, I usually go there too, Chris. One of the things I like is once every time I go down there, I like to visit it once, and I usually have a what is it called? The No Way Jose. I had one the day before I did the 15K mini marathon because I needed the carbs and I needed the sugar.
And plus, it's great. You could take a walk right if you're in Epcot that day and go to lunch. You can. It's a short walk from there. It's great.
And I agree with you that the burgers are probably one of, if not the best, on property.
A restaurant I think Scopey will agree with me that's pretty good is a Whispering Canyon at Wilderness Lodge.
Nope.
No, I thought you were going.
Nope. I used to agree. I would have agreed with you maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but I could tell you that the staff over there at the Wilderness Lodge has been changing over the last 5 years, and I don't believe that the quality of the food in any of the restaurants at the Wilderness Lodge is what it used to be 5 years ago. So I disagree with you right now.
Okay, because I was going to go, all right, well, that's interesting. I thought it was, I went there, I think a year or two ago, probably 2 years now. I went over there and I found it really interesting. It's a lot of people, say Wilderness Lodge and these Primetime Cafe at the MGM Studios are, kind of close in that they both kind of, have these waiting staff that kind of mocks the guests or, puts them up for that kind of public entertainment. But, they're different. I mean, the jokes are different at Whispering Canyon. Obviously the ketchup routine.
Very entertaining. I'll give you that. It's very entertaining over there. But I mean, if you're talking about the whole package, I think it's kind of gone downhill a little bit.
Okay, I'll take that. Another restaurant that I've enjoyed is Spoodles on the boardwalk. Going back to the boardwalk again.
That's on my list too. I like the appetizer with the hummus. I like that, and I think that they've come. Now, there's a restaurant that I think has gotten better over the years. I think that's probably one of the best kept secrets too, Matt. I think it's a good place to go for lunch. Oh wait a minute, you can't go for lunch there, can you? Spoodles? I don't think you can.
I don't think so.
No. Early dinner, I think it's good.
Yeah, no, I go there usually. I like going there after perhaps a day at the studios where you're out. Maybe I'm not staying for Fantasmic, so I'm out. By 5, 6 p.m. Closer probably to 7, and I go over there and have a nice late dinner, and it's great. Nice. Obviously, you can have the meal and then walk it off a little bit around the boardwalk area. Mm-hmm. So it's something that I enjoy quite a bit. Any other restaurants, guys, that stick out in your mind that we haven't hit upon?
Well, Mike said Yachtsman Steakhouse, and immediately came to mind was two other places that I particularly like for steak, and one is the Concourse Steakhouse, which I believe is going to be changing sometime soon, and the other one is a really well-kept secret, and I think it's very underrated, and that's the Kona Cafe. I really like to go there for dinner once in a while, and they have the best teriyaki steak tips on the property. So those are the two that I thought of.
One thing that came to mind when we were looking for the restaurants, one that I look, even some of the worst Disney restaurants I've enjoyed. Like, the food is okay, it's fine, maybe overpriced, you know what I mean? Like, it's manageable. A restaurant that really stuck out of my mind as just terrible is that new El Molino New York Trattoria restaurant at the Swan that replaced Polio. And that restaurant was just, it was terrible. I ate there and just, it was just interesting because I was thinking of the best, and I came across that in a list of restaurants. I like shuddered at the thought of it because it was really that kind of a terrible restaurant, which is too bad. But I thought I would throw that in there in case anyone's looking for some other restaurant.
Place not to go.
Yeah. Speaking of restaurants that certainly I don't think you'd recommend anymore, Newell, will you still recommend Olivia's?
I was going to put that on my list. I had it written down. I actually crossed it out. They had changed the menu over the last couple of years. It's not as good as it once was, so it didn't make my top 3. So I had it on there, but I crossed it out.
Yeah, I had dinner there within the last year, and it was the first and probably the last time I'm going to go over there. Just there was nothing special there, Yeah. Not that I'm looking for something special, but it's why go way over there. Well, the thing is, Matt, it's like we talked about Trails End, and it's the Trails End is. I mean, you really have to. I want to say you have to make an effort, or you have to go. It's off the beaten path. But you said Mike said the quality is good. You said the price is good. I mean, it's a nice, quiet time to eat or whatever when you're over there. So it's worth it. But with Olivia's, it's just there's nothing there to make me go all the way to Key West. You know?
Yeah, it's a long drive.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for us today. This episode of Walt Disney World Today has been sponsored by Small World Vacations, who has a team of 40 agents that are authorized Disney vacation planners, and they're recommended by MouseSavers.com. They're dedicated to your dreams and your dollars, so get your free price quote by going to Small World Vacations online at www.wdwvacations.com, where the magic begins. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at www.wdwtoday.com. You can also email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Len Tessa, Mike Scoville, Mike Newell, and Chris Eliopoulos, I am Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.